How's it going, everybody? Okay, so today I want to try something brand new to me and brand new to this channel, which makes sense because it's the third video. There's a game called AI Dungeon. You've probably heard of it. If you're watching this video, you've more than likely found it because you've searched for AI Dungeon. I have it on the iPhone, and the game is essentially one of those choose your own adventure type stories where it gives you a prompt, you can type in something for it to react to, and it gives you another prompt, and so on until you inevitably get killed by some sort of explosion. So I've already written a few stories on AI Dungeon, and I want to practice doing a voiceover, maybe some character voices, some read-throughs, something like that. Mainly just as a practice. It won't be perfect. Again, this is my first one, but I thought I want to document exactly how I'm going with this whole thing, so this is the first one, but I thought it would be funny to read one of these stories because they almost always end up in complete chaos. So it should be pretty fun to listen to, regardless of how good I sound. Little side note, I will probably be trying new accents as well, so they'll either be American or quite posh. I'm not really sure, but we'll see how it goes. I've got some things in mind for some of the characters. So yeah, let's try. You are LANDIR, a peasant living in a small village in the kingdom of Larian. You have a pitchfork and nothing else. You dream of getting out of your village and having an adventure. You go to your fields and begin working. You look up and see the beautiful princess you met at the fair enter your village. She holds the hand of a man wearing a king's crown. She waves and makes eye contact with you before the couple passes by. You wave and shout hello. The princess waves back and says, "You must be LANDIR." The man says he is the king and he wants to speak with you about his daughter, the princess. You ask the king what he wants to speak about. He says that he wants you to be his son-in-law and that his daughter, Princess Eliza, is to be married to you. You must agree, of course. You agree to marry the princess, with some trepidation. The king rewards you with a bag full of gold. You are told that this is just a token of his appreciation for your agreeing to wed his daughter. You ask why he wants you to marry his daughter. He says that he wants you to provide a successor. You ask the king, "If my son is to be prince, does that mean I am to be king?" He laughs and he says, "No. You can have more than one heir." You smile and tell him you understand. "Am I to live in the castle?" You ask. He says yes, you can stay in the castle if you like. You thank him and you say that you would prefer to live outside the castle. You wave farewell to the strange king and go back to your peasant duties. You await more information from the castle. One day, a man arrives at your house in a coach. He introduces himself as an emissary from the king. You introduce yourself and ask how you can be of any help. He says that he wishes to conduct business with you, but he needs your address so he can send you some of the payment. You tell the man he is on your land right now and therefore already has your address. He thanks you and tells you that within a week you'll receive the first payment. You ask what you're being paid for. He says that he is being paid to supervise the unloading of a ship. Black Devil. You ask, "What cargo does the Black Devil bring?" You await the man's reply. He says it is full of cannons and weapons. "What are these weapons for?" you ask. He tells you that the king intends to conquer the Dutch Republic. You ask why your king wants to conquer the Dutch. He explains that they have been doing too good a job and are becoming a threat. A threat to what exactly? He explains that the Dutch have become too strong and are starting to pose a problem to his business dealings. You ask how this involves you and what he wants you to do. He explains that he has allowed your ship to dock and unload, since it would be foolish to risk losing the ship. "So, you want me to set a trap?" you ask with some confusion. He tells you that the Black Devil must be destroyed so that the Dutch do not gain a foothold here. You think about it for a moment. You agree. You will destroy the Black Devil and steal their cannons. You agree to the plan and he thanks you, handing you a bag of coins. He tells you that you are to meet someone here in a week and leaves. You agree. You head back into your home and return to sleep, counting the coins in the bag. In a week, you meet a man outside who tells you he is a representative of the king. You invite the man inside to discuss the plan. You invite him in and ask what the plan is. He says that he wishes to meet you and your son, to which you agree. You introduce your son, Funleash, to the man. Your son is overjoyed to meet the stranger. He asks many questions which the man politely answers. After some time, you notice more men gathering outside of your home. You go to meet the men and ask who will lead your party to the docks. As you approach the men, they all turn and address you, saying, "You have been chosen to lead a party of men to the docks to oversee the unloading of a ship, carrying cannons for the king." Okay. You agree to the plan and tell them where they should meet you at the docks. You head to the docks after nightfall. You set out to the docks as the sun sets and climb aboard a ship. You find yourself aboard a ship alongside 13 other men. You go over your plan with them to steal the cannons for the king. You decide that you and 4 others will head down into the hold of the ship, and once there, you'll release the ropes holding the cannons in place so that they can be carried up top and onto the ship. You continue. After that, you shall load the cannons onto your own ship. You and your teammates descend down into the ship's hold. It is dark, and you drop down a few stories before finding any sort of light or movement. You keep a lookout in case there are guards. You stand still and silent, listening out for guards or any other signs of life. There is silence, but all around you the sea is getting more violent. Your ship is crashing into the ocean floor. You use the silence as a cover for your noise. You start to yell as loud as you can, shattering the silence. You see a figure move, and it is not a guard. You immediately pull out your pistol, scoping in on it. "Halt! Who goes there?" you shriek. You fire your pistol, the shot going wild and hitting a wooden barrel. The wooden barrel explodes, sending you flying back as you're hit with splinters. You scream in splintered agony, pulling a long piece of wood out of your hair. You scream as you're torn apart by the force of the explosion. Your body collapses to the ground and everything is set alight by the torches lit on the ship. You hit the wall of the ship, winded. You see you're badly injured, but you can escape. You see a guard standing nearby, watching you struggle. You scream for help, the shot hitting the barrel. Oswin lets go of a lantern. Oswin stands on a chest and lights the lantern. The flame illuminates the hold. "Hello, Oswin. Help carry me to safety!" you shriek. That wasn't a shriek. "Help!" Anyway, you wiggle a little bit, but it's... You wiggle a little bit, but it's no use. The water is crushing your chest and your body won't move. You take a deep breath and swim deeper into the flooding hold, looking for an escape. You swim to the other side of the hold. You find a strong wooden post holding up the ship. You catch sight of a rope hanging from it. You pull yourself up the post with the rope. You climb to safety. You make it to safety and catch your breath. Oswin runs over to you. "Are you alright?" he asks. "Not really. I was torn apart by an explosion, and my party of men are dead. The king will be furious with you, Oswin." Oswin stands there to attention and salutes. "Yes, sir, I know, but I tried my best," he says. Oswin turns to leave, but you stop him. "Are you alright?" You hastily hatch a plan to explain what happened here. It was beyond your control. You exhale slowly, trying to think of a story. You look over at the burning wreck of the ship and notice that there is little to no wind. Oswin notices your hesitation. "What is it?" This was meant to be my first task as prince, and I've ruined everything. I need to leave Larian for good. Oswin stares at you for a moment, his face displaying both shock and confusion. He sighs and turns away from you. You stand there in silence for a moment, unsure of what to do. You ask Oswin if he will join you and help you escape the kingdom. Where are you going? You ask, panicked.
I need to file a report with the king of what happened. I was on my way there when I found you,
he explains.
You can't tell him what happened here,
you say.
He'll be furious.
Oswin turns to you.
I don't need to tell him. He knows what happened, and you needn't worry. I'll keep your little secret.
You go to ask how the king already knows, but realise the king meant for all this to happen. Angered, Oswin turns to leave again, but you stop him. What are you going to tell the king? You don't let Oswin leave. He will betray you. You can't tell him, sir, you say. You need Oswin's word. You're not a convincing speaker, you sigh.
He won't tell him, sir. He's not that sort of man,
Oswin says. You hesitate for a moment, but then grab a candle from a nearby lantern and hurl it into some spilled gunpowder. You feel the heat on your back. The smell is thick as smoke fills the air. You're coughing as you run for the door. You hear a shout before a hand grabs your collar and yanks you back. You tear away from their grasp and run into the forest. You run as fast as your legs can carry you. You hear cries of, "Let him go! He's not the target!" floating to you on the wind. You slow down to catch your breath. You slow down and choke back a tear, thanking the gods that you are still alive. "You there!" a voice roars from the forest. You freeze, silently, waiting for the disembodied voice to reveal its form. You turn to see who the voice belonged to, and find yourself staring face to face with a ghostly knight. It isn't a full-on ghost. Just a shadow of one. "Let me pass, foul spirit!" You reach for the dagger at your hip, but your hands are already occupied with holding the torch. You wave the torch at the phantom frantically. The ghostly knight shakes its head. "Ghosts don't exist. Only spirits," it whispers. You feel a sharp pain in your neck, and the torch goes out. Darkness consumes you. You stumble and fall to the floor, feeling for any sign of protection. You desperately feel around, hoping to find anything that can help you. You grope around until your hand hits something hard, and you grab it. A mask. You put on the mask. The mask, though worn and tattered, still offers you some protection. It doesn't block all the sounds, but it's enough to buy you a little more time. How does this help me? You think to yourself. You look down at the object in your hand, recognizing it instantly. It's a chalice, taken from the last sacrificial knight that has stood here. "Where in God's name has this chalice come from?" you shriek. You've no idea, but you're sure it's helped you in the past. If there's one thing you know, it's that you should hold on to it. 'Cause you never know when you'll need it again. 'Cause spelled C-U-Z. Brilliant. Absolutely. You put the chalice in your pocket. You hope there's another in the dispensary. But if not, you'll be glad to have this one. You glance upwards to see if the spirit has somehow passed into a further realm of boredom. It seems the knight's fate is sealed to linger longer around. It makes you wish you could do the same. You linger. You stare at the spirit and realise it has nothing but hatred for you. "Why do you hate me, spirit?" You snap. The spirit doesn't say anything, but it does seem curious. "This isn't some silly tale of romance. I am a real person, flesh and blood, like you." "You just told me ghosts don't even exist."
I assume you're talking about the night. Yes, that was a very strange case. You don't seem to have any emotions. Can you not pass into the afterlife?
You ask the spirit how you can help him leave this plane of existence.
You really don't need to do this for me.
Why not?
I won't be going to heaven.
But if not heaven, where will you go? You ask. You can tell the spirit is enjoying this.
I'll be sent to a very bottomless pit where evil spirits are sent.
You swallow hard. Okay, you say. Then I'll be on my way.
Wait!
He cries.
I don't want you to go. I want you to stay with me.
No. The spirit grows frantic.
Don't you want to stay with me?
Sadly, you feel no regret for his loneliness. Get away from me.
Why?
You feel no regret. You take the chalice from your pocket and hand it to the spirit as a parting gesture. The spirit is shocked and immediately grabs it from your hands.
I don't want to be sent to a pit of evil spirits. I'm good where I'm at.
Nobody is forcing you to go to this pit. And also, it's really not my concern. I have to go now.
Oh.
It says "ah." The spirit looks down at his bony hands and you can tell he is thinking about how he won't ever be able to hold your hand ever again. You walk over to the horizon and try to forget about the spirit. The end. You reached a successful conclusion to this story. Well, there we have it. Episode 1 of AI Dungeon, or my voiceover practice. It's not perfect, I know. I really need to work on my narration. I think my ghost voice was okay. And I think my hero voice, LANDIR, was about as close to Frodo as I will ever get. That was alright. And as you have no doubt witnessed now, AI Dungeon is absolutely bewildering. Yeah, the things it comes up with are fantastic. I love it so much. The whole thing about wanting to marry the princess, and then I'm suddenly on a pirate ship stealing cannons, which explodes and pretty much kills me. But then Oswin turns up. Who can forget dear Oswin? So I escape into the forest. I'm attacked by a ghost who I dump, I assume. And then the end. Happy ending. Let me know if you like this video. Try not to be too mean. I know the voices need work. I'm working on that. This is video 3. Yeah, but I'll be doing more of these. I want to get better at reading this sort of thing, and reading actual scripts at some point. So that's where I'm headed eventually. And at some point I won't be able to watch this video back because of how poor it sounded, and then it'll get deleted. So you were here for the short time that it was up on the internet. Hooray. Thanks a lot for joining me, guys, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.